So a person that recently joined the server was asking a couple of questions regarding the couple of few stuff. Let me see if I can bring it up over here for you guys. Okay. Let's see 1 second. Where is this stuff? Um fun. Yeah, Ash 27, right? So this guy's from London. I new to trading and stuff, trying to set up Turbo Trader on Webull. Now that's great. That's exactly what you need to do to have your trading set up for it. Now, of course, once you have it set up, the next thing the next thing you want to do is to make sure that you guys have you guys are actually used to using the Turbo Trader. You could paper trade to play around the features, right? Make sure you're getting used to it, or trade with some money, but don't trade with actual money, right? You don't start trading like you're actually trading with real money. You want to start off with just like buying 1, 2 shares just to get used to the system. Okay, that's the first thing you want to do. Okay, now the next thing over here is going to be, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, what Turbo Trader is on Webull, then it clearly, I mean, you guys are obviously not set up for day trading. If you guys don't know what Turbo Trader is on Webull, again, you guys are not set up for day trading, right? So please go and check it out. Have your have your stuff on go to YouTube, right? Go to YouTube, check it out, right? Have it on just type out Turbo Trader Webull, and then you guys will know what I'm talking about and have it set up, right? This is also pretty much mentioned inside the onboarding section for you guys, right? It's under here, okay, where you guys have the mentions on this. All right, so you can click on this link, and then you guys should be able to be linked to the YouTube video that helps you set up this Turbo Trader function. Okay, all right. So now that's the one of the questions that this guy have. All right, now the next thing is, I was planning to join the $500 challenge, but can't find more info about it. Blah blah blah. And I'll answer this in a bit, but next one over here is trying to understand how to read the charts. Now, of course, there is never a immediate way on how to read the charts, right? There's never an immediate way on how to read the charts. You can't know it exactly just because of a documentation or a couple of like pictorial representation, right? The best way to learn how to read the charts is by actually every single day putting the work and effort into it, right? So this is the only way you're gonna be used to reading the charts. Try to understand, right? You won't understand it just by looking at it, okay, without putting the effort to actually do it. Remember that. It's like how I always tell you guys, right? If you guys are playing basketball, if you guys want to learn how to play soccer or whatnot, you will not get better just because you know how to read, just because you watch, 20, 30 videos on YouTube about it. You will not get better at it just because you do that, right? So same thing. Just because you watch like 20, 30, 40 different videos about how to chart, right? If you do not actually practice drawing it on the chart itself, you're not going to get good at reading the charts. You're not going to have the eye on watching on the charts, right? This is something that you actually need to really put in the time and effort to actually draw it on the chart, so that this way at you can get better at actually reading the chart. Okay, and one way on how you guys can do it is by trying to plot your stuff down every single day when there are movements across the board here and there. Plot your stuff down on the chart, right? And then under the share chart section over here, draw it over here and put it down over here so that I can comment on it. Right? I'm gonna be going through every single one of them. Okay. All right. So this one is something that I would say you can draw it over here, and then you can ask me about it, and then I can help you guys out with it over here. All right, like this guy drew it. I follow the stock from pre-market, and just my draw is good. It's great. I mean, this is a very nice downtrend breakout over here for HWH, as you guys can see. Right, this is a very, very nice downtrend breakout. Okay, so this is great. And this person, when he first started, Faisal, right, he's actively using this chat over here, keep asking questions and whatnot, right? You see, I do reply, and I even give a rather a better way to draw it rather than this, right? I do reply and give a better way to draw it. And yeah, you can see, this is how you can learn. Right, this is how you can learn. Okay, you need to start practicing. And this guy now has just drawn a very nice dumping break out of here. Okay, all right. So that's the one thing about how to read the charts. Now, the last question that this guy had was how to plan to join the $500 challenge, right? Now we have two $500 challenge over here. One of them is by Tyrone's 500 challenge. So you can start this challenge anytime, right? But once you start, you gotta make sure, right? You gotta make sure that. All right, sorry, one sec. Once you start, you have to make sure that you're actually, right, um joining more than one play. One of the mistakes that I see most of you guys do is that you guys take one play, it doesn't work out, and you guys just stop. You guys actually just stop following it. Okay, again, remember, every single trader is going to have their own losses. Right? There is no such thing as a 100% win rate trader. Every single trader is going to have their own losses. And this is something you need to understand. Okay, there is no such thing as one play is going to work out all the time. People will take losses too. Right? That's how it works. And if you want to emulate the results of this $500 challenge, where we took it from $60, we started at 60, right? But took it down to $89,000 right now. You need to follow everything. Losses will happen, right? But after each loss, there's going to be a win as well. So if you take a loss, you start following, then of course you're not going to be able to reenact the full results of this challenge. Okay, so one thing to really take note is that if you join the challenge, okay, you can join it anytime, like I said. Please make sure to follow through and not just find one play and call it a day. All right, and never ever go all in. Okay, now I'm gonna go through about how you guys can follow the challenge exactly. The first one over here is gonna be the Tyrone's $500 challenge, right? So what do I mean that you can join the challenge anytime, right? What do I mean you can join the challenge anytime? So over here, Tyrone just alerted last week, ECVA got filled 1/4 at 113, stop loss under 110. So what does 1/4 means? It just means that he got filled 1/4 share size at 11 cent, 0.13, and the stop loss is under 10 cents, right? So okay, so this means that if let's say your account size is let's say you start right $500. So let's say you start with $500 over here. Okay, you can add your position over here at 0.13. Now, of course, remember, another thing to remember is that you cannot get the same exact entries as we do. Sometimes you get it better, sometimes you get it a little bit lousier. It will not be exactly the same, but you have to make sure that you do not be adding this when the target is 16, 17, and you add it at 15 cents, right? Anywhere close to 12 cents and stuff, I think it's fine. But you have to still respect the same stop loss plan. You have to remember, people will be slapping it. Okay, this is over here is artificial volume. This is why it's being pumped up. But we do not take profits on this fake moves. So if there's pullbacks back to 0.13, you guys can add over here or even lower sometimes, right? But whenever he alerts it, the main key thing is you have to act immediately first. Because some of these plays, let's say if he alerts it, there is no pullback and it might just go. We take Y, for example. This is one of the plays that he alerted a couple of days ago, right? He alerted it over here. Okay, we look at the time frame. All right. Sorry, not this one, the one that went actually crazy. So if we look at the time zone over here, it's at 9:45 a.m. Eastern, right? On the 27th of August. So he on the 9:45 is this candle. This one. See that? You see this? Right? This is the candle at 9:45, right? So if you wait for a pullback, you're not going to get your entries. And this thing actually went to 37 cents after a couple of minutes. And I'm pretty sure you guys have all the time in the world to be adding this. Now he says that he was in at what price? The 12.8. Okay, if you can't get, and he said he was aiming for what? 18 to 20, right? Now if you see this is the alert where he alerted is, okay? 9:45. So it was in at 12.8, it pumped up to 13.9 something. If you have to get it at 14 cents and stuff, or even 30 something, okay, I think that's fine. All right, so long as you know that your target is 18.20. Right, but don't be adding this at 16 cents, 17 cents and stuff because it's very close to the first target. Okay, you cannot exactly have the same average as he's going to have because I mean, just imagine this, right? There are so many people following the $500 challenge. If he alerts that he's in $1, he's like, oh fuck. if he alerts that he's in 1/3 of his count at 0.128, and every single person in the server buys 1/3 at 0.128, there'll be no one left selling it at 0.128. Do you understand? Do you guys understand? If I buy all the shares that's being offered to be sold at 0.28, why would there be shares left to be for the rest of you guys to be buying it at 0.28? You understand? Right? So this is also one of the reasons why copy trading doesn't make sense, right? Because you want to copy my trades, okay? But if I were to be buying all the offers of 0.28 up, right? How can you guys copy me exactly? You cannot. There's not enough shares for you guys, right? And 1/3 of the account, let's say for example, if $500, you want to start over here right now, 1/3 of it is essentially just 500 times 1/3, right? So 0.333 or whatever, right? So 165. All right, you can start your account over here, buy 165 shares at 14 cents or whatever, 13 cents, and then you see what happens. Right, so you guys can see, right? If you wait for pullbacks, you're not gonna get you're gonna miss out on the move. Okay, so whenever he alerts something, your key thing is to add it immediately. And if you want to leave room for pullbacks, then you don't add full size first. You can start with 70-80% of position size, and then add more on pullbacks. This is how you guys can manage it. Because if you wait, sometimes you might just go. Right? Sometimes you might not go. Sometimes you might even get a better entry and stuff. Okay, but the key point over here is to follow it exactly. Okay, so and don't wait for pullback. So sometimes if you wait, you're just gonna miss out. So over here it says 1/4, right? So if you have a if let's say you want to start today instead, a $500 account times 1/4 is 0.25. So you can afford to buy 125 shares over here. Now, if you don't want to buy 125 shares at once, you want to buy some shares to start and stuff like that, right? And then you see the price maybe at like 0.112 or something, or 0.12, then buy 100 shares first, then buy 25 shares on dips or whatever you want. Because sometimes these bits can just continue going, like what I showed you with Y just now. So the key thing over here is to make sure that you guys are adding it when he alerts it, and then leave some room for dips. Okay, so long as the target is, and obviously make sure when you add it, it's not very near to the target. And you respect the target regardless. Okay, this is the very, very important to understand. All right, very, very important to understand. Okay, so and yeah, so you can start anytime, right? You guys can start anytime because the account is given. I mean, the play is given on the account size. So you guys really need to understand this, right? It's impossible for people to actually get the same entries as him. Maybe at the start when nobody really knows us, so this server is pretty relatively small, then it's fine. But as the people grows bigger, as the account grows bigger, right, there'll be more people wanting to buy more and more shares at 0.128, for example, right? And then if let's say they're in the market, there is sellers offering 50,000 shares, right? 50,000 shares at 0.128. If someone buys up the 50,000 shares at 0.128, how can you buy the shares at 0.128? Do you guys understand? You guys know what I mean? If there is at least 50,000 shares being offered at 0.128 and someone buys it all up, then the next price is going to be whatever price that the next seller is going to sell it for. You understand? You know what I mean? So you cannot get the same entries as we do because he's not the only one buying this at 0.28. There might be other people inside the server with a larger account that buys crazy amount as well because this is very cheap. I mean, you can see that he himself already bought 200,000 shares over here at 0.28. And maybe over here, right? There might be some of the after he bought all of this, right? Maybe there's 100,000 shares left for 0.28. Maybe someone else buys this as well. But he plans to buy 500,000 shares, right? So he'll buy 100,000 shares at 0.28, and 400,000 shares will be like 0.129, 0.30, or something like that. Because there is not going to be an unlimited supply of 0.28 for you. Because not every single person in the market is selling at 0.28, right? If you look at level 2, there are multiple people selling it at different prices. It's not every single one at one same price. So this is something you guys have to understand. And this is why copy trading doesn't work, because there's no way. And this is also the same concept as formal alerts as well. right? When I learn something, especially when the room becomes bigger, that might be a temporary price hike, but same thing, okay? I'm not gonna be taking profits. I don't think Tyron took profits over here as well. I don't think he did because his target was what, 18 to 20. If you tell me that he takes profit at 17 cents and stuff, okay, I'm sorry, this is for ECTA, right? If you tell me you take profit at 17 cents, or sorry, at 15 cents and stuff, I think okay, that's fair because it's very close, right? But when it hit 13 over here, I mean, this is not something for you to take. This is artificial volume, it's not organic. So you can just leave it. Okay, all right. So very important to understand over here, guys. Okay, all right. So that's one of the questions from Ash 27. So let's go through the rest of the stuff right now. No, no, I don't like to use a POS scanner with him. I've said this many times before. I think broker scanners are not good at all. Very bad. I don't like it. Personally, I don't use it. What are top five indicators I should use for trading you for daily scalping? So Irfan, for me, for me, generally, whenever I enter a trade, it's always a day trade, right? It's always going to be a day trade. Okay, unless I actually know, I feel like the ticker might be slow. One example can be UUU, all right? As long as $6 hold and 5 entries and dips, this is something I'm still holding on to some of it. Okay, you guys had the entire time to really be locking into this accumulation over here. Like I said, right? As long as you hold above $6, you can accumulate over this, and we got a nice push to 827 EOD. So this one might be a multi-day swing. Okay, but one key thing for me is that on my place, I will take profits on the day itself if it starts pumping. If not, then I'll accumulate. All right. Another example is going to be open. All right, this one over here. Let me see. So this one over here, right? So when I said I took open at 386, well, good dips down to $3. Now let me show you guys what exactly happened over here, right? And I even told you guys that I'm not selling for small gains over here because I only start I want to play dips around this, right? So you can see that when I alerted this, it on the day itself it went to 420, 430 something. But because I want to build dips and I wasn't given dips after I added, right? It doesn't make sense for me to be taking profits over there. And this is what I said. Look at this, okay? 425, right? You can see it hit 408 and then hit 425 from 386. But this is what I said. I was looking for 450 and more here, but for now, since we have a pretty wide risk, so it didn't scale anything. But if you want to scale profits, please go ahead. Like I said, but for me, I didn't touch nothing. And then the next day, what happened to open was that this is what happened over here, right? What happened to open after that the next day? Was this thing went all the way down to 315. You can see that, right? This is on the 18th of August when my alert was at. It says 19 for me. You see, it says 19 for me because I am a day away. No, a day away, right? I'm from Singapore. Oh, sorry. This is the day I alerted the candle, right? This is the day I alerted the candle on the 19th of August. You can see the highest it went to was 412, right? And the next day it went all the way down to 307. You can see that this is on the 20th of August, right? Look at the date at the bottom. 20th of August, which is exactly right where I told you guys to build it down to $3. We went all the way down to 306, and then you can see what happened right now. So this could be a multi-day play over here for you, right? This could be a multi-day play over here for you. But of course, as it goes up, once you take your dip and it goes up, and you take the profits, make sure you keep it green regardless. Okay, all right. But mostly when I take the play, if it moves on the day itself, I'll take profits. If it closes, if it doesn't really close to weak, it's still closed very nicely above my entry price, then I'll hold the rest for the next few days. Okay, but my main rule is Irfan, right? Mirza, is that I will never let a green trade turn red. No matter what kind of it is, if I have to break even on it, I'll break even on it. Okay, do you also share, and so also, and one thing you guys asking, right? 1+ wick hold. You see, I keep telling you guys that we do not control the price action of the stock. All right, there's no way we can give you guys a play knowing that this is gonna pop 1 week later. Because let's say if I want to buy a stock at like, let's say if I want to buy a stock at maybe today, right? And I feel like, hey guys, there is a catalyst for this. I know that there is a catalyst for this biotech stock that's gonna come out in the next week, right? So maybe I want to be buying this right now for a pre-news run-up, for example. Okay, so I want to hold for a whole week, right? I could say that, right? I could want that because it's scheduled to post the news and stuff. But sometimes companies don't respect schedule. So if I had it today and then I wanted to hold for a week later for the news to drop, right? A week later for the data to drop, and then they start sharing the news, interim news, for example, 2 days later, and it pops. Am I not going to take profits just because I'm gonna hold for a week? You see, it doesn't make sense. It does not make sense, right? There is no such thing as holding it for 1+ week just because, and then when it pops, right, you don't take profit because you want to hold it for 1+ week. So I think you guys should really stop thinking about like, oh, can you guys know what tickers to have to hold for 1 week plus? If I want to hold a play for a swing, right, and it goes past 2 weeks, but structure never broke down, I'm still gonna hold on to it. Because structure never broke down, why should I close it? Why should my trades be time relevant? You know what I mean? Why should my trades be time relevant? Why should it? Can you imagine if you guys were in a trade over here? Okay, let's say for example, you guys were in a trade and sitting in the support, right? And let's say this stock has been consolidating over here for the longest time, right? And then you add over here for a swing, and you say, oh, this is gonna be a 1 week swing, right? 1 week later, this thing is still here. Are you gonna cut it just because there's no movement? 2 weeks later, it's still here. 3 weeks later, there's volume and there's news, this thing is skyrocketed. So your original plan is to hold for 1 week, and then because you hold for 1 week, there's no action, you cut it over here. Does it make sense to place your trade on a time basis? It doesn't. Because you cannot control the stock price. You cannot control anything like that. All you can do is to manage your risk, like I always say, right? Based on what the chart's telling you, and you let the stock do the work. Okay? All right, Mirza, I hope I answered your questions, yeah? But yeah, they're mainly on the same day buy and I sell, but I don't sell everything, right? If they're close to strong, I'll write the rest, right? Maybe I have like 10-15% left, I'll write the rest. I think even for open, I told you guys, right? Even on over here, once we got our ads at 386, it went down to $3. If it pops back up to like 4+, we took profits. But I didn't tell you guys to sell everything. I told you guys just leave like 10% or even 15%. Have your stop loss at 350, and then see what happens. We never lost 350 after. You can see that, right? It went to 390 short. But I told you guys to have a stop loss at 350 and write the rest. And you can see right now we're at new highs. Same thing, say always like that. When structure does not break down, why do you close everything away? What's the point? There is no point. All right. Top 5 indicators. Sorry, I don't use TradingView. All right. There is no top 5 indicators. Okay. Again, there is no top 5 indicators. I can share with you what indicators I use for day trading, right? But there is no such thing as a top 5 indicator. Okay. It depends on what suits your style, right? Maybe for you it might be good, but for me it doesn't work for me, so I wouldn't use it, right? But many people who day trade and scalp a lot like to use the 9 EMA. I don't use that, right? It just doesn't fit my strategy. So does it mean that it's bad? No. It just means that it's different. It doesn't work for me. So there shouldn't be a top 5 or whatever the thing is, okay? Because if there is, why am I not using it? Why is nobody using it since it's top 5 for day trading? You know what I mean? Right? You got to find something that suits your style and make sure that it's good. And you can consistently keep adding. Okay, the indicators I use are 20 EMA, 50 EMA, VWAP, 200 EMA. I honestly I only use these 4 lines and I track volume. That's it. I don't really use anything else. Easy to borrow, hard to borrow. Nope, I don't take those into consideration. I think those are bullshit. Oh yeah, Siri. So for me, I got caught in the sell. I got caught in the hold down on PAPO as well. Now this is very common, right? Because we're dealing with a ticker that can hold up, so we can dealing with a ticker that can hold down as well, right? Hold on a second. Sometimes some plays, okay, sometimes some plays they hold up as well. So same thing, when we let's say for example, if if we're in the play and let's say for example, if we're in the play at $7, right? We want to take profit at 750, but this thing holds up and goes to 8 plus. Are we gonna say, oh no, I'm not gonna take profits over here. I'm gonna wait for this to drop back down to 750 and then cut it and then take my profits? No. Right. So same thing, if we're in the play, it drops down, right? I closed my position over here closed at 730, 740s, by the way. I did not close at 780s because this thing was just halting down, right? So I closed it at 730, 740s for a loss. And this is how you should manage it. All right, this is how you should actually manage it. I think it's great that you actually respected the plan and cut it. Some of you guys over here, or some people over here, um, uh, might not even cut it, right? Hoping for it to recover, and you might be lucky sometimes, right? Some of these plays might actually recover, but there are also some plays, like I said, if you don't respect your stop loss, what's gonna happen is you're just gonna end up. This is the kind of situation this might happen to you, right? So whatever the case, so this is the kind of situation that might happen to you. You don't have a stop loss, okay? Price just goes all the way down, and you're stuck forever. So Siri, I think what you did is great. All right, you're gonna put a sell order right off the hole. That's great. That's what I did as well. There's no way I could cut it at 980 something. Sorry, 780 something. I closed my loss at 740, 730s. So that's the best way to handle a hold down, Siri. That's the best way. All right. What you should not do is hold on to it and hope for it to recover. Because sometimes you might be taking much bigger losses. All right. If you want to rely on luck for this to recover, then that's not trading anymore. You might be lucky once, but how often is it going to be? Just one time. If you're going to enter a play where it doesn't recover like for you, you're going to get demolished. I still struggle with setting up stop loss. Irfan, so this one I mentioned this as well before, right? My stop loss is never based on my stop loss is never ever based on like a 10% rule. Why should, again, same thing, right? Why should there be a 10% rule? Why should there be a 10% rule for you? Like why are you trading, okay, based on um based on your position? Why? Let's say same thing. Let's take this for example again, right? Let's take this for example again. I like to use this for example because it really helps you guys to understand, what I'm trying to explain. So let's say a stock over here is, again, this is support, right? Okay, Irfan, if you're here, I want you to be a little more engaged on this, so you kind of understand what I'm saying. Let's say a stock trades like this, okay, right? It goes up and down along the support level. Okay, so let's say you see a bounce over here and you think that it's gonna go back up to this line, right? Let's say you add this over here, okay? And then down here, right, at this mark, if the price drops down to this mark over here, is a 10% loss. There's going to be a 10% loss. You guys following me so far? All right, are you guys following me so far? Yes? Yes? No? Yes? No? Yes? No? Okay, right. So let's say if the price drops down here, okay, it's a 10% loss for you and you cut. Does it make sense? Where do you think your stop loss should actually be? Where should your stop loss actually be? Does it make sense for you to cut over here just because it's a 10% loss and based on the rule you're supposed to cut it? Yeah, exactly. So why should anyone, right? Why should you guys be basing a trade plan on your position instead of respecting the chart? Is the price moving just because you bought into it, or is it because of whatever's shown on the chart? What is it? Is it moving just because you buy in or you sold in and stuff, or is it because you buy in because the chart looks good, or you buy in because oh, this thing is whatnot? right? So why does it make sense? Irfan, you see, you understand, right? Does your why does it make sense for you to respect a 10% rule over here when clearly the support shows over here? So your stop loss should be underneath this line. Why should you cut when it drops 10%? Just because your rule says to cut at 10%, right? So whenever it drops 10%, but even though the chart still shows support, there's a chance that the stock price might actually pull back over here, right? There's a chance that the stock price might actually pull back over here, and then you cut it, right? And then it does this. But because you cut it because it's 10%, and based on the rule, you have to cut it. But has it broke down from structure? So if it didn't broke down from structure, why should you cut it? Why? What's this 10% rule supposed to help you? You know what I mean? So you should not do that. Always base your trades on the chart. Because when you trade, you look at the chart. Unless you guys don't do that, right? Obviously, for me, when I trade, I look at the chart. When I take something, I look at the chart. So all my decision has to be based on the chart. My entry is based on the chart. My stop loss is based on the chart. My potential areas of taking profits is based on the chart. It has nothing to do with wherever I add it. Because the market doesn't care. The market doesn't know you added over there too. It doesn't care. They move based on what the chart's telling them. So it doesn't make sense to have a 10% rule and stuff. It does not. But maybe if you guys have your own strategy and whatnot, sure. Okay, I'm not trying to dismiss anything, but just to, if you guys are new, you see, for Irfan, he's struggling with setting up stop loss. I'm trying to help you to understand why setting or limiting yourself to a fixed stop loss percentage does not make sense at all, because you're not letting the stock do its work, right? You're pretty much just being super static and not respecting the chart. And this way, the chart will not respect you, and that's what's gonna happen. Regarding the dividend play you on September, yeah, I think even before that it might drop already. But yes, for sure, I think there will be a drop on September 26th. Or are you planning to short it? But I think there might be a drop and stuff. Okay, but that's not the reason why I'm inside this. The reason why I'm inside this UU play is because I think last week or 2 weeks ago, MBY was the one to start this dividend news, right? And this shit was going absolutely nuts. Okay, before dropping, sure, it's fine, whatever. Price does not keep going up. Same thing for SOGP as well. Had dividend news too. Okay, but yesterday, all these dividend news dropped, right? So the fact that you could make a nice push is a very, very impressive. But of course, for me, one of the things that makes it not, but like I said, this is not really a momentum play, right? I did also mention this to you guys. I said this is not going to be a momentum play, so slowly build it. And you guys had all the time from 4 a.m. all the way up to like even market open. The move only happened at 2:50 p.m. after, so you guys had like hours to build this before the move actually happened. But one thing I don't really like about this is that every single week the theme might change. So I'm just afraid that the theme might change and this thing might completely die out. But again, since the move has already happened, I'm going to raise my stops up and make sure I keep it green. I still have some left, but I'm going to raise my stops for sure. Can you share your thought process and steps on what you look out for when the stock pops on Nintendo? Yeah, sure, for sure. So when a stock pops on Nintendo, right, the first thing I'm gonna look for is going to be now remember, this is very general stuff, right? It's never going to be one size fits all. You guys have to remember this, okay? There will be some times where stocks doesn't fit the criteria but still goes crazy. But do I trade those? No, because they do not fit my criteria, and these are things that I don't usually trade. So when that usually happens, I do not actually touch them, right? So even if they do go, fine, right? But I don't touch them because they're going to be out of my comfort zone. And this is something you guys need to know. You got to trade something that you can replicate. If you're lucky in one trade, but it's not something that you can replicate, then that's not good, right? So I never ever trade something that I don't touch, even though if it's going. Okay, all right. This is something you guys remember. So when something starts hitting the scanners like this, right? I'm gonna look at the ticker, right? Is this a known ticker? Is this something I known this is known to run? I look at the country after as well, and then I look at the flow, right? Something is very important, right? For me, I like to trade low float tickers. Right? You see stuff like this, I usually don't touch. I won't even look at it at all. Okay, stuff like this, very, very low float, but it's a Singapore ticker. I may watch it, but I don't think I'll trade it. I'll just put it on my watch list and we'll see what happens. So you can see that place like this has super, super low volume. It's impossible to trade this, right? Unless you go lotto size. So you see, these are things I will not touch, right? And the other thing is, of course, you want to look at whether you see this one as well, ACRV. All these have like uh 22.3 million, right? I don't touch these, unless of course there is the wick itself has shown a lot of momentum on these, big float tickers, then fine. But if not, I wouldn't ever pay attention to these at all. Right? I wouldn't pay attention to these at all. So GMPX, right? You see, these are very expensive stocks. I would not touch it. Even though yes, they do go. Sometimes they do go, right? Right? And sometimes they do actually go, but you see, I don't ever touch them. So these are some of the things that I look at first. And the next thing is why is it running, right? What's the reason? Is that a catalyst? Is that no catalyst and whatnot? These are things I always share. I mean, I always think about it. All right. And then I let it settle down and then I play it from there. Is it still okay to enter open now? No, it's way too high for me right now. No. I see you trading before market open. I would like to follow you very much, but I can't set up stop loss. You might say you do it manually, but it's very difficult. As you said, pre-market volume is not as much as market open, and it could knife and I might lose money. I mean, does it mean that you would not lose money in market open? You will still lose money in market open. I think the might lose money part that's stopping you from trying pre-market should not even be there. Because if you don't want to lose money, then the simple thing is just don't trade. Right? You working a day job, you will never lose money, okay? Because if you don't lose money, right? I mean, if you work a day job, how can you lose money? There's no way. Unless of course, you do something wrong and you gotta pay the company and whatnot, whatever, so on and so forth. But if you work a day job, you're never gonna lose money. In fact, you just keep making money only, but sometimes it might not be enough. Right? So the fact that you don't want to try it just because it might knife and you might lose money, okay, it's already a very wrong mindset to have. Because when you trade, you are going to lose money, right? This is something that's going to happen. You are going to lose money. All right. So like and you see for you, now you're telling me I can't set up stop loss. You do it manually. That's fine because I do it manually. Even the market open, I also do it manually, by the way. So there's no difference, right? I only set my stop loss when I'm in at $2 and the stock right now is at $6. Then I'll set my stop loss. I don't care anymore. But at the start, everything is manually as well. All right, everything is manual, so I don't really care too much about it. Okay, they say it's very difficult and pre-market volume is not as much, right? Then why don't you go smaller size then? What's stopping you? You can manage your risk by going smaller size, right? So that let's say if it does knife, you might lose money, but you won't lose as much. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? Makes sense, right? Remember, any single time when you guys have the mindset of, but what if I lose money if I take this trade? Then you will never ever place a trade. Never. You will never ever place a trade. And this is what's gonna happen, right? Um, this is about the mindset as well already, to be honest, right? If let's say you guys don't want to take a trade, for example, you see me call a play, right? You see me call it one play, and then the one play is green. All right, and you're like, oh fuck, I should have followed PPT. Okay, it's green. Okay, oh my god, I should have followed PPT. I shouldn't be afraid. Oh, it's green again. Fuck. Okay, guys, you know what? I'm so afraid of losing money that um I'm going to take the next play that he take it for sure. I'm gonna take the next play that he called, right? Because he's been successful. And again, like I said, every single trader have their own losses. Have I ever proclaimed myself to be a 100% win rate trader? No, right? I will never proclaim myself to be a 100% win rate trader, right? So the next trade is a loss, but you take it because you missed out on these first three because of your fear. Because of your fear that you missed out on these first three, right? Because of your fear of what? Your fear of losing, right? Because of your fear of losing, Because of a fear of losing, you miss out on this first three, and then because of this first three gives you that confidence, like, oh my god, PVT is so great. Let me just go in on the fourth trade. And the fourth trade I take is a loss. For me, I'm still green overall. But for you, this very action over here, it amplified your fear of losing. And that's not good because you're being very selective. And when it amplifies your fear of trading, right, a fear of losing, it makes you not want to take trades even more. And then when they do that, right, let's say 5, it's a green. 6, it's a green. 7, it's a green. And then your emotions come back again. Fuck, I'm going to take the next play that PVT calls out. 8, loss. And then what happens? So you're stuck in this cycle. You're not trading then. You're letting your fear run by you. So which is why I told you guys this before, right? If any one of you guys over here cannot take losses, okay, you shouldn't trade. Don't even start. Because you're just not gonna be focused. You're not even you're not gonna give it 100%, and the market's not gonna give you the 100% as well. Because you're just gambling. You're buying into whatever and hoping it works out, and it's just basically you're trying to just base it on luck instead of statistics. And that's never gonna work out. All right. If you want to base on luck, the best place to go is the casino. Hold on, Coco. I have to get through you later because yours very specific, right? Carrot, what's your usual share size for 20-30 cent stop loss? It depends, Carrot, right? It really depends on your account size. Remember, I told you guys this before. I size in based on how much I'm willing to lose on my account size. So obviously, if I've hold on a second. All right, if I have a 10%, right? If I have a 10% account size, what the hell? Okay. If I have a $10,000 portfolio size, obviously, 20-30 cent stop loss. Okay. A 20-30 cent stop loss. Maybe I can afford 1,000 shares, for example. All right. If I have 20,000, if my portfolio is 20,000, then this is going to become 2,000. So it really depends on your account size, right? A $5 million account size and a $500 account size will have very different sizing. You know what I mean? So it's based on your account size. It's not something that's fixed or whatever. 50K. Wait, what? You mean you buy 50K shares on 20-30 cent stop loss? So you're the reason why shares are flying, huh? You're the reason why. Oh, 50,000 account size? Well, now it depends. You gotta find your sweet spot, right? You have to find your sweet spot, right? For me, I usually do not go too heavy. I mean, like, yeah, so you have to find your sweet spot, right? I think no, if you have such a big account size over here, obviously you're very lucky to have that. Number one. Number two, the second thing I'm going to warn you is that if you're new to day trading, please make sure to get used to the setup and the I would say the thing about day trading first, right? You want to get to the action of day trading first before you actually start trading with actual money. Because if not, you're gonna end up losing your $50,000 over here. Okay, which I don't want that to happen to you, right? My sweet spot is always 3% of my portfolio size risk. 3 to 5%. For me, at the start, if you're new to trading, I would say 1 to 3% is good. Right. So let's say if my portfolio size is $100,000. Okay. And every trade, if I take it, I'm gonna lose 3% of my portfolio size. All right, well, 3% minimum, right? But sometimes I do cut early, if I feel like the play is weak. So that's whatever, right? But generally, 3% each play I take, normal plays, right? Not lottos, whatever, normal plays I take, I will lose 3% of my portfolio. So how much is that? That's gonna be $3,000. Correct? But that's 3%, right? 1% is $1,000, right? Is it? Yeah, 1% is $1,000. So 3% is $3,000. Following me so far? Following me so far? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. Yeah. So that means that every single play that I take, right? Whether, for bid, if I take a play at $2, my stop loss is under 180. Okay. So let's say if a play doesn't work out, I will lose around $3,000. Might be a little bit more, might be a little bit less, but it's around the same number. If I take a play at $5 and my stop loss is $4, all right, I'll still lose. So even though this thing has a 20 cents risk per share, but this one has a $1 risk per share, all right, I will still lose around $3,000. Your sweet spot and my sweet spot is going to be very different. What if you make 50K that week? Do you bump up to 3 to 5% on the? I mean, you can if you want. Carrot, honestly, you can if you want, but psychologically speaking, are you emotionally speaking, mentally speaking, are you able to handle the change? Because if you cannot handle the change, then you should stick to you should slowly increase it instead of like going so big. But if you emotionally can handle the change, then sure. But if you cannot, you should slowly increase it. Right? There has to be some sort of progression. What are the best scanners? I don't. The only okay right now. The only scanners I use is the one in the trading chat. This is good enough. This is tweaked for you guys as well, right? So you guys don't usually see bullshit on this on the scanners inside, right? A lot of like fluff PRs that don't go. But that's the only one I use. So you guys don't have to spend money on scanners, right? Just stay inside the Discord server. I mean, the scanners, external scanners also are pretty expensive per month. So you don't have to spend money on it. Because this over here acts as a new scanner and a volume scanner. So you have both. Oh, okay, we'll look into it. What's the float size you're looking for? Generally, ideally 10 million or lower. Right, ideally 10 million or lower. Okay, oh no. For me, those are I was so a lot of times when I size in on the play, right? If I feel like the market's hot, sometimes I might size it a little bit bigger, right? Not in the sense of like me increasing my risk, right, Coco? But what I'm doing is that I'm risking profits from my previous play and then adding it on to my next play. So I snowball my profits. Of course, if it doesn't work out, I do give back, right? But I'll still keep myself like green or whatnot. But if it does work out, then this is gonna amplify a lot. Either way, for me, it's either I end small green or I end big green. So this is how I can manage my risk and stuff. Have you ever thought of also sharing the chat, but also in this? Well, we'll try, but this one we have to talk to the developer of the thing. Yeah, no, because but you see the thing is because the trading chat is where you guys are actively trading, right? Just if I were to put it in a so you guys want to hear, you guys want to look at some of you guys maybe want to look at the scanner at the same time, also the commentary for the trades. If I put it in a different channel, um, if I put it in a different channel, you guys will have to, let's say if I put the scanner here, you look at the scanner, or you guys go back to trading chat to see the comments and stuff. It might be a little bit too tedious for some of you guys to go back and forth nonstop, which is why everything's inside here, and you guys are in the moment. You guys are trading it. You guys are discussing it at the same time. No, Coco. This is also because I have different account size. I have different accounts I'm trading with. Right. This is also I have different account I'm trading with. Yeah. Okay, if not, I think this is it. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this session over here. All right, let's see what happens next week. Okay, sorry I couldn't be around on Friday, but the wife was unhappy, right? And this is the type of things that you gotta. No, I just said no, die. No. I mean, I wouldn't do it here. I'll tell you for sure. I will not do it here doesn't mean it will not go up, right? It's just that risk to reward wise doesn't make sense for me to enter over here. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Yes. No. I have IPKR and Weibo if I need to, but I usually don't touch the Weibo. Um, hey yo, thank you. Can you send the link on how to set up Weibo? So I'm not gonna. Okay, I'm just. So Anthony, you just have to go here, right? Anthony Neverson, just go over to the top of the channel. Okay. All right. You can see it. Start here. Trading onboarding. Right. Under scroll to the top under brokers. There's a feature here, right? You click on this, it will link you to it. Okay. And then just visit site and it will link you to it. Got it? Anthony, you got it? Yes? No? All right. Okay, so if not, enjoy the rest of your weekends. All right, I'm gonna go. Yeah, there's not much to do. Let's see what happens tomorrow. All right, I'll see you guys around. Cheers. Thanks for coming.